Testing, testing. Didn't know she wasn't in exec session. I'm a little behind. Okay, thank you. Welcome to the Board of Education meeting for May 7th, 2025. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Natalie, would you please reiterate our executive session motions?
Yes, we met in executive session to discuss the collective bargaining negotiations for district non-instructional employee unit. We discussed the record of a particular student and employment history of a particular person.
Thanks, Natalie. I hope everyone is having a great week so far. My most important message tonight is one of heartfelt appreciation for our teachers. We're incredibly fortunate to have such dedicated educators in our school district, teaching and supporting our children every day. I hope you're feeling appreciated and enjoying Teacher Appreciation Week. And also, earlier this month was Principals Day, and today is Nurses Day, so expressing my appreciation to the district's principals and our nurses as well. This evening, we'll hold our state-mandated budget hearing, which is a standard part of the annual budget process. Also, a reminder that May 20th is Election Day for the community to vote on the following items: the 2025-2026 school budget, the proposed acquisition of property on Franklin Place, 4 capital improvement bond proposals, and the school board election. It's a full and important ballot. If you need more information on any of these items, please attend an info session, visit the website, or reach out directly, and don't forget to vote on May 20th. With that, I'll hand it over to Dr. Champ for the superintendent's report.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jackie. And again, I too want to reiterate just my incredible appreciation for the amazing educators and support staff that work in our district. So as Jackie said, this week being Teachers Appreciation Week, it's really fun and rewarding to watch the way that our teachers get celebrated this week. They deserve it every day of every week, but to see the amazing I guess the love that I see our parents and our students pouring onto our teachers during this week is very heartwarming. So thanks to them, and incredible thanks to our faculty. They are second to none. They continue to prove that they are just outstanding educators and support staff. So we thank them and honor them this week. I also too want to recognize, as Jackie did, our principals and all of our administrators who provide instructional leadership and educational leadership to our schools every day. Equally talented, equally committed, and professional, and we're just so appreciative for them for all they do. And of course, then our nurses as well, who keep us healthy and safe. And it's so funny because having grown up I've never not been in a school setting since the age of 5. So just my entire life has run on a school setting, school schedule. I don't know how to say this other than I've always known that the school nurse is there. At the age of whatever I am at this point in time, I know I can go down the hall. If I need a Band-Aid, I know exactly where to go to get it. And they will always be there with a smile on their face and comfort and take care of you with no question. So I just say that as a small example of how just amazing they continue to be. And they're there not just for our students, but for the whole school community. So congratulations to them, and we honor them today too. A couple more quick honors before we move on, and we're excited to see some folks that have come to join us tonight as part of public comment, but I think it's going to be an extra special public comment tonight. But before that, just congratulations to the cast of Urinetown. We had several of our students in that. Liam Ginsberg, Grace Kiami, Lucette Al were all selected from our production of Urinetown to participate in the Roger Rees Awards program in hopes of becoming one of 50 nominees nationwide to be selected to compete for the Roger Rees Awards for Outstanding Performers in Musical. This is really on par with the Tonys for high school theater. In addition, Grace was also nominated for her performance in Fordham Prep's production of Big Fish. Also, On Sunday, May 4th, the annual Eastern Student Artists Guild Awards, ESAG, were awarded at Iona University. This award recognizes outstanding non-musical high school theater productions, in other words, plays. And again, Sock and Buskin was proud to announce that their fall production of Agatha Christie's, And Then There Were None, was named one of the top best dramatic high school productions of the year in the region. Individual students were also recognized there. Best Actor category, both Taya Sinertia and Liam Ginsberg. Honorable mention for Best Actor, Jeremy Tam. Best Supporting Actor in a Drama, Lucette Au. And we congratulate all of those students. And our Sock and Buskin just continues to fire on all cylinders. And just on the community service side of things, Sock and Buskin is going to be doing highlights from Urinetown for our Senior Citizens Club and Pelham Women's Club on May 15th and May 19th, respectively. All of our schools over the last several years have committed to sending a group of students each year to visit our senior citizens and do things, everything from performances of Sock and Buskin to playing games to bringing snacks and treats, bringing them cards, teaching them some dancing lessons, all kinds of things just to really to connect with and give back to our senior citizens in the community. And I know the students have enjoyed it and the seniors have enjoyed it. And I really thank everyone who's involved in that as a way of strengthening our community fabric and teaching kids the value of giving back to the seniors in our community and learning from their friendship and wisdom. A couple more items. Our yearbook, Pelican Yearbook, continues to also win awards. So this year was selected to be featured in volume 30 of the Varsity Yearbook portfolio. It won 3 awards for Best of Cover, Design, and Coverage, which is great. It's an incredible award that to win across those 3 categories. And this is, I think, at least the 2nd or 3rd year in a row been designated at that level. And just 2 more things to point to, and I know I'm going to give thanks to Tracy Holtz and her department for all the effort, time, energy, planning, coordination that goes into this in partnership with the PTAs in one case, the PEF in another case, the building administrators in every case. We have, I believe all of our schools have or are in the process of completing their Week with Building Bridges program, something that was initiated by a parent through a PEF grant many years ago, and the district has continued to support. It's one of the most meaningful, memorable experiences for our students each year as they get the opportunity to meet and learn from differently abled folks that come into the schools and share their own personal stories. So if we are Pelham and What's Your Story, we get to hear these important stories every year and really expand their horizons. Also, as you've heard from Tracy, she has been worked with the PEF and was awarded a PEF grant for communication boards. Those have been delivered and are being installed this Saturday.
Yes, as much as they can get done on Saturday.
Yes, so very exciting, and we're really looking forward to the inclusivity that's going to add to all of our playgrounds by providing a tool for communication for students who have communication issues. So it's a tool that can be used by them, it can be used by small children, it can be used by anybody and everybody, and we're going to have one of those at each campus. So Tracy, thank you for the vision and for seeing that through, and for all the folks involved in that. And we are going to be working on a ribbon cutting in the very near future. So we'll certainly make the board aware of that, and I invite you to be part of that. And we look forward to those adding to the quality of our playgrounds. Thank you. That will end my report for tonight.
Thank you. Before we move on to the rest of the meeting, I'm going to move up public comments. So please come up
Name and address.
and please give your name and address, please. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I'm Rafe Goodyear. I'm a sophomore at Pelham High School. You said my address or my email address? Sorry.
Your
Yes,
home
yes.
address.
Oh, my address. Yeah. 540 Monterey Ave is my home address.
Thank you.
So I'm Rafe Goodyear. I'm the founder and president of Pelham's robotics team, Flux Robotics. Over the past few months, we were able to design, build, and compete with that robot that you see before you. It was a great experience. We all learned a lot, and we were able to win the Rookie of the Year award at the competition that we went to. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Lev Gorlov. He's more of the technical lead on the team, just to talk about what the team's meant to him.
Great.
Hello, my name is Lev Gorlov. I am a junior at Pelham High School. I live at 460 Esplanade, and I'm the robot lead for the next FRC season. And I truly want to impress how incredible of an opportunity this has been to me. This team has allowed me to put the theories which I've learned in, for example, in my engineering classes to real-world uses and design this incredible robot. And looking forward, I plan to major in mechanical engineering in college, and this has really been just an incredible opportunity overall. I'm not even sure how to put it in words to truly expand my skills under the guidance of actual mechanical engineers in the field from one of our great mentors, Scott, who works as a mechanical engineer at Argonne Labs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question? Can you tell us a bit about your club and who your coach and advisor is and kind of how you came to be?
Yeah, and congratulations on
Yes.
on the award, the rookie. It was rookie.
Yeah,
of,
Ricky, they did a nice job on that.
Ricky
Thank
of
you. Yeah, so right now we're an entirely school independent organization. We founded it. It was just me, my mom, and my dad. We've been working out of our basement. We've been working and building out of our basement. Some other more developed teams have let us come to their arenas to practice, but it's really just been me, my parents, and the other students, except for, of course, our mentor, who Lev mentioned. His name's Scott Mueller. Like Lev mentioned, he's a mechanical engineer at Argonne National Lab, and he's just been super knowledgeable, super great. He's been able to teach us. He's been able to bring us from knowing next to nothing about robotics and engineering into being able to manufacture, program, and wire electronically that robot.
amazing.
Are we going to get to see a little bit about
Yeah, is
what
it-
that robot does?
That's coming. That's coming.
Okay.
But first, we just wanted to say that with the bond proposals, we know that one of the issues at hand is more funding and more resources for engineering, and that could entail more space for engineering classrooms and perhaps even a robotics classroom. And so we just like to express our appreciation for the support we've received so far. Like I know Dr. Callahan, he's come to a few meetings. He came to the competition. That was great. We just like to encourage you. Just encourage you to vote yes on those proposals, which will allow us to develop and grow our team even further, and of course improve the student experience. Now if you don't mind, we'd like to give a quick little demonstration of the robot.
Absolutely.
Yes, please do.
I want to see it.
Does the robot have a name?
We never got around to naming it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
It's coming right at me, but that's okay. I like it.
If anyone wants to play catch with the robot, they're welcome to. You should, I would suggest you just flip your laptop down and it'll throw you the ball.
Wait, you want to get?
I'll give it a try.
If somebody wants to
Come
come
in
here in
front.
the middle, we can,
Yeah.
we can launch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We'll stand in line. Go for it.
Yeah.
Where do you want the board members?
Let's go see the robot in action. What is it made out of, like spare parts or? Oh, does better reverse than.
How far can it? Let's see.
Can it make a basket?
No, that's fine. Who's gonna be first up?
Dara's
Stand right
ready.
here in front of it. Right there, perfect. Get ready, it's gonna come in.
Oh,
This is like the best
oh,
board meeting.
oh. You picked up the ball again.
We can shoot at that speed or a little faster.
Oh.
Good job.
Maybe lower for me. I was not an athlete. What inspires a design like that? I guess you should probably come up here. Question, what inspires a design like that?
So, well, we just looked at the game. We looked at what the objectives were. We knew we weren't going to be we knew we weren't going to be able to build as competitive of a robot as the other more developed teams. So we decided to focus on the less popular scoring method, which is that large green ball you see, because we knew we had a better chance of being able. If we could do that really well, we'd be more valuable to an alliance partner than being able to do the more popular scoring method poorly.
Oh, wow. So
And yeah, and
strategy.
like I said, our mentor Scott, he's been doing FRC for a long time, so he was able to guide us with the strategy aspect. And yeah, that shooter design specifically, that was from one of the seniors, Nico Pietranudo. He's been really great. He's was one of our lead design members this year. That was entirely him. Yeah, he 3D modeled it himself, and then we were able to put that together.
How long did it take you from beginning to end? Like,
So we started having actual meetings in January, and then we basically planned and built and programmed until our competition in April. So yeah, it was a long few months. There were a few weeks where some of the team members were putting in like 20, 30 hours into the robot.
Wow.
It was a lot of work, but it was really rewarding, and we're really excited to do it again next year.
Yeah. Great.
Excellent.
It looks like such a simple concept, right? It's like it sucks it back in and it throws it. But when you look at the robot that they built,
Microphone.
Microphone.
Yeah.
when you look at the robot that they actually built, I mean, it's so complicated and intricate, like the whole circuit board on the underside and all of the wires and like everything that it takes just to create. And I don't want, it's not like, I hope I'm not sounding like I'm downplaying it, because it's a complicated process to get the ball to suck it back in and throw it. But the amount of programming it looks like you had to do, and the wiring and figuring out how everything fits together to have that action, that repetitive motion, it's really, really impressive.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the things we learned this year is that simpler for a design is often more impressive and better than something really complicated. If you can get something to accomplish the same result with less work and less time, then that's always better and more impressive. Oh yeah, and a small clarification. Earlier we mentioned that Scott works at our mentor works at Argonne National Labs. That was wrong. It's Fermi Labs in Illinois. Oh, and one other thing we like to show you. Lev, you want to grab it? Spin it around really quick. Bring it up, please. Yeah. So this piece you see right here. This isn't for shooting the ball. This is this claw type mechanism. This allowed us to hook onto a cage as part of the game, and with this winch contraption, we could hoist ourselves up and climb, and that was another way we scored points.
Oh, cool.
Wait, you climbed? The robot climbed?
Yeah, we could
Like
get
a
that
wall?
few inches off the ground. Not a wall. It's like it was like a cage essentially. We could hook on with that hook, with that claw, and then with a winch we would like hoist the robot up.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was another big piece of our design. And yeah, that was not us though. We with the help of one of the more developed teams, we came up with that. But yeah, it was a really great experience, and we definitely learned a lot.
It's amazing.
This robot was programmed using the Java programming language. We started with like a bit of a simpler code provided by one of the more established teams, and then modified it to our uses. And some of the seniors who have taken the computer science classes have been a huge help in programming the robot to do what we want it to do. Just want to give our thanks to the seniors.
What's its power source? How's it powered?
It has a car battery near the front.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
So that gray block is a battery, and it's
Yeah.
connected to the robot computer, which you can't see under the glass, but yeah, it's there. And yeah,
Nice.
we have around 11 batteries. They can last a while, but you need to change them between every match to ensure top performance.
Oh, that makes sense.
And the flashing orange light, is that like for
That's
health
a
and
safety light.
purposes?
It's
Okay, I was
required
gonna say.
as part of the safety protocols.
Okay.
Oh yeah, our robot has around, I'd like to say around 11 motors. So we have 4 for the drivetrain down there, 1 for the winch, and then 6 for the climber. So yeah, it was a lot of work to get it all working.
And when you were building this, I know the answer to this, so I guess I'm fishing for a bigger answer, but did you get everything right the first time?
Of course not.
Can you talk to us about that, kind of the trial, error, and that whole
Yeah.
process of how you arrived at a successful competitive
Yeah.
functioning?
Originally, we weren't even going to shoot the ball. We had a much smaller, simpler intake, which would just use another scoring method where you deposit the ball in a hole on the field. But then, as we still had more time left over, we decided to take the bigger risk and go for the shooter. And I'm glad we did because it paid off, and our robot is really unique. But yeah, we've had a lot of mechanical failures, some of which still pertain to this day. But yeah, we got most of the things worked out.
Yeah, I'd just like to share a story about failure with this robot. There's a substance called Loctite that you apply to screws to make sure they hold in their position thoroughly. And this material, it's called polycarbonate. It's very durable. You can hit it with a hammer and it won't break. But if you get Loctite on it, it's really bad. I'm not sure exactly the chemical reaction behind it, but it cracks and it's unusable. We did that a lot. Lev is our CNC machine operator, which is basically just like an industrial laser cutter. That's how we were able to cut these polycarbonate pieces so precisely. There were a lot of times we had to send it back to the CNC machine because of how much Loctite we got on.
What is the cost to make something like this?
My dad could answer that question better than me.
Dad?
So I'm Justin Goodyear. I live at 540 Monterey Ave, Rafe's father. So the budget for this year's team was $45,000, and that it was probably about 15 or 20 into the robot itself, and then it also went to tools, and it also went to pay the mentor, who is a professional engineer, as Rafe said, works at Fermilab. If you look at the amount of time that he put into this, I mean, on an hourly basis, it was an enormous bargain. And he has FIRST Robotics experience. That's the name of the league in which these students competed, the FIRST Robotics competition. And he has FRC experience, and he's very, very passionate about this. And he loves working with young people. So anyway, that was the budget for this year. The team, of course, wants to do bigger and better things this upcoming season. It's going to be even more expensive this coming season. We have gotten fantastic support from the entire community, parents of the team members, also non-parents of the team members, just individuals in the community who responded in a hugely positive way to a GoFundMe campaign we did, and then local businesses, including the Meridian logo is on the robot there, and other businesses from around town. And Lab is in fact wearing the T-shirt that shows some more of our sponsors on it as well. And so that's all been fantastic. As Rafe mentioned, part of the reason we're here tonight is that really long term, for one of these teams to succeed, it's rare for there to be a team that's totally independent like ours is right now that lasts a long time. For a team to grow and continue to be successful and last a long time, they're almost always part of a high school. And there are multiple examples of this out on Long Island. There's a couple others in Westchester County. Ossining has a great team at their high school. And so one of the things, and we've talked to Dr. Callahan, who's been incredibly supportive, and we're all looking for ways that the school can be even more supportive, and really would love to get the district the resources it needs to be able to support this in a serious way, which means really, frankly, space and a faculty advisor who's able to devote the time necessary. So thanks very much for considering that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate you guys
Yeah,
coming
thank you for
tonight.
coming. Well done.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Love it.
Maybe they should call him Kevin. Kevin.
Took off. All right.
Awesome.
That was fun.
That was awesome.
That was so cool, guys.
I'm a little speechless. That was really impressive. That was
Yeah,
great.
very impressive.
I know, this is like the opposite of the way my brain.
Okay,
I couldn't do that.
back to
So
the
cool.
agenda. So let's move to 3.2 Board of Education Committee reports.
We had a couple today.
Yes, we've had several meetings. Wait, we had safety, do we want to start with, we had safety, was that this week or last week? Yeah, it was last, yeah,
We
last
did.
Friday.
You want me to take that one?
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Go ahead.
We had a safety committee meeting in which we discussed some of the following topics, which include but are not limited to an overview of the district-wide drills. So lockdowns per building. Those have been completed, all lockdown drills for building. We talked about the uniformed guards and guards is the wrong word. Security personnel, monitors, personnel in the schools that have been a useful addition to our full-time employees. EVAC drill participation. A discussion around parking. Parking seems to be the perennial subject that never seems to go away. And discussion on the district-wide safety plan updates for 25-26. So those were the primary themes of the meeting.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we also talked about Siwanoy and the kids hanging out at night. Yeah, after hours on the playground. I think where we got to was that we're monitoring the situation, but essentially we should tell our kids to be mindful of the time of day that they're or of the evening that they're going to the schools and going to hang out at the schools, and to be mindful of the noise level.
Yeah, the kickball game at midnight. It's not the right time to
Yeah.
play kickball.
Yeah, and Chief Sanchos is always at the safety committee, and he was there as well, and that's what I meant by he sort of has a pulse on the situation. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Is he going to be doing more, like, drive-bys to monitor it for the time being? Or,
He hasn't necessarily. I do think he said that after midnight, they will make sure they have gone by
Yeah.
to see if
I
anyone's
think he
there.
acknowledged the situation.
He
will be
acknowledged the situation.
Sufficiently
Yeah.
Great.
responsive to any complaints. And I mean, I think the other point is that we talked about was it doesn't feel appropriate to, given how much the space is used, the outdoor space is used, to
To lock it
to
up.
lock it for extended periods of time.
Right.
Which would probably be
For example, through the
counterproductive.
weekend,
Yeah.
when the community's using it during the days on the weekends.
Right.
right, yeah, no, that wouldn't feel appropriate to
No,
lock the space.
Certainly encouraged those that may hear or be disrupted by that, though, to reach out to the police department, especially at those late night hours, and make sure they're aware, and the police will respond. And we've made them aware of some community concerns as well. So we're all working together on this, and again, we've looked at the site. It's not like we're finding broken glass on the site or anything like that, which is reassuring. It seems to be just a place where young people are congregating. But at the same time, we have neighbors, and we want them to be considerate of all of our neighbors. And sometimes it can get loud on a weekend night. And in instances like that, that's when we would encourage folks to reach out to local police, and they'll respond and respond accordingly.
Okay.
We had a policy committee meeting,
yes.
but I guess we'll talk about that when we talk about the policy that's
Yes,
up for review.
perfect.
Okay.
We did have bond steering as well.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if we wanted to deal with all of Jim's committees and then, or
Yeah.
however you want to handle.
Yeah, let's do bond steering.
Facilities, bond steering.
Monday
committee.
morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we met for a facility now known as Bond Steering Committee, and we invited our, community members who are part of the committee. Right now, there wasn't much discussion. We answered questions, discussed some of the, concerns that are still out there, but until hopefully everything passes, we can't really have much detail or go into much detail because we're only allowed to go into 2% of design. We did have our architect there and our construction manager to answer any questions from the committee. So that was a good turnout. And I think we're in a good place, and we're now looking forward to May 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Yes. So we have a nice committee, a good cross-section of community members living throughout different parts of the community where the work is being proposed, and people with some really wonderful experience and perspectives that they can share with the committee. So I think we're very fortunate.
Okay. Yeah, we had, was there anything else?
Yeah, we also had an advocacy committee
Okay.
today. Again, thank you for all of our community members that are in that committee. We again discussed some of the concerns regarding our proposals for the bond propositions that are on the docket for May 20th. There were some good ideas. There was a good, line that one member of the committee said we have to, she was discussing how she thinks about the bond, which is investment in our future. And we got some good feedback from them, as we always do. And again, a lot of not concerns, but like ideas on how to address some questions that are coming up and do some FAQs. And it was a great turnout. Again, we're now, hopefully we will see them again right after the budget vote, and we will discuss with them again and thank them for their support. And Catherine and Dara were there this morning.
So you were in a lot of places this morning, Catherine.
Everywhere.
Yeah. We also had personal growth and achievement, or also known as curriculum committee, meeting this morning. The elementary principals took us through their study of shifting to departmentalization for the rising fifth graders at the rising fourth graders at the elementary schools, and that means the students would still have a homeroom, but they would the teachers would be focused in math and science, and focused in ELA, so that they can go sort of deeper on those subjects. What we learned was it's very good for preparing to go to middle school, in terms of learning flexibility and improving executive functioning. And it also, the way the principals had it scheduled out, there's the total instructional time stays the same, but there's actually more time for science. And the WIN period, which I forget what that stands for.
What I need.
What I need. How could I forget that? Right? So the WIN period is actually, can be much more productive. under departmentalization. And then somehow, and we went through this a lot, they found 30 minutes of time at the end of the day to have a seminar period, or a seminar, I know you're calling it something else, but a reflection period or a seminar.
Yeah, the title of it hasn't been fully fleshed
Establish
out.
it,
Yeah.
like somewhat of a seminar period at the end of the day where the kids the teacher and the kids can go through what are the connections between the classes, right, between their classes during the day, and maybe prepare for what's coming the next day. So, very good.
Yes, thank you. And the team will be here on the May 28th board meeting to kind of share that plan with the broader community and with the full Board of Education.
Okay. I think that was that all of that was every committee almost. Yeah.
Did wellness meet?
Yes. Yeah.
No, Marie.
Included in the district report? I mean, I'm prepared to report what happened, but do you want me to go ahead with this? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Marie is out
Okay,
sick.
I'll jump in. Yes, Wellness had their final meeting yesterday. And what we try to do in the Wellness Committee is at the start of the year pick focus areas that we want to take a look at based on different things that members identify. So this year we had 4 subcommittees. One that was furthering the work that was done last year at the high school level with getting the elementary staff trained in grief from New York Life, that grant that a parent brought forward to us. So all of the representatives from the elementary schools were trained and received some grant money to order materials and books. We had an SEL subcommittee that did an excellent job working on tiers of support at elementary, middle, and high school for SEL, and it'll be great work to inform our larger SEL committee that I think we're going to be forming as a district through the Recovs grant. We had the adult wellness subcommittee, and right now that was focusing on trying to gain space for a faculty room at the high school for the teachers. So I know they were talking to Mr. Llewellyn and Dr. Titone and working on areas that could be potential, because while they have office cubes, they don't really have like a break room or a place where they can sort of go and relax in a way that pulls them away from their computers. We also talked about different things that we could do for adult wellness moving forward for next year, walking clubs, teacher Olympics that would be judged by the kids. Yeah, that would be fun, but a lot of work. So those were just other ideas from this committee. And then the last committee was a physical movement committee, so how we can infuse more physical movement into the day for all kids. They did do some research and found out what opportunities do exist, more so at the elementary level for movement breaks, brain breaks. But we did talk about the idea of sensory hallways, which Mr. Ricky shared with us. Putting things on the floor isn't a great idea because floors need to be waxed and maintained and decals don't stay well, but we're going to explore the idea of doing things on the walls. So like a sensory hallway where, here, stop here, touch your toes 10 times, hop to the next thing. So, a fun way for kids to just add movement to the normal course of transitioning from one place to another. So that's what we did in wellness this year.
Thank you. Okay, I think that might be it for
I think that is actually it.
for committee reports. Well done
Been a
with all the
busy month.
committees
That's-
meeting. Okay, next is 3.3, Assistant Superintendent's update on personal growth and achievement.
So last I was here reporting, I shared the issues that the district, our district, and many hundreds of districts throughout New York State experienced when we attempted to administer our 3 through 8 ELA exams. We had 2 attempts on our scheduled dates, and both were extremely problematic. And after spending several minutes attempting to log into the state contracted platform, we decided to abandon assessing on both those days, and we moved and rescheduled them to after April break. So as I sit here today, I'm happy to report that administration of the ELA exams went off without a hitch. The state contracted platform used the time to work out the kinks, and we have now completed our ELA New York State assessments in grades 3 through 8, and we're moving to math. Tomorrow begins math assessing, and then we'll continue that through the grades, and then finally we'll end with science, which will complete all of our New York State assessments for this year. So we are moving towards that, and the platform seems to be working. Knock on wood. Also, AP testing, which this year is entirely computer-based also, has begun this week, and we just want to send all of our students the well wishes on all of their assessments that they'll be sitting for in the next several weeks as we march towards the end of school. As many of us know, this year marks the 30th anniversary of the Pelham Education Foundation, celebrating 3 decades of enhancing the quality of our students' educational experiences by funding programs going beyond the scope of the annual school budget. The 30th anniversary this year kicked off with a celebration this past Friday evening in the middle school gym. Great opportunity to showcase many of the grants that PEP has awarded to the district over the years. It was wonderful to see our student performances using the many musical instruments that PEF has awarded grants for in the district. The harp was there that we approved this year. The Suzuki guitars were there, and many, many more musical instruments and students performing with them. And in addition, they showcased the ping pong tables were there, the Adirondack chairs were there, and so all of these amazing opportunities that PEF has provided to students and teachers in our district throughout the years. And then, of course, on Saturday, the executive board started early by distributing all the blue ribbons throughout Pelham to all the households who supported PEF this year. And we are continually grateful to PEF as they support and resources that they provide to our schools and the educational programs so that they can enrich and enhance the educational programs that we offer to our students. That's it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I lost my.
Okay, next we have Tracy 3.4, Assistant Superintendent's update on belonging and wellness.
Hi, thank you. So last Tuesday, April 29th, we had our first session that was held of its type, which was to support parents and students with IEPs and 504 plans as they prepare from transition to high school to college. The purpose of the event was to clarify the difference between high school and college disability services, outlining the changes in legal protections, student responsibilities, and the process for accessing accommodations in higher education. Our guest speaker was Ms. Kate Shannon. She is the Assistant Director of the Disabilities Department at Manhattanville University, so she came to speak with our parents, and a couple of students were there. It was, I think, a well-attended event for a first go-round, and very excited about it. Very well received. The parents were very thankful. So we look forward to making that an annual event every year with our counseling department.
So that was I'm sorry. That
Sure.
was the first time. That was the first meeting of its kind. It was
As far as I
yeah,
know.
Yeah, and it was
Yes.
well attended.
Yeah, I think it was a good turnout, and I think, next year, we're going to look to expand
again.
other universities that have different types of formats. I talked about with Mr. Farrell also inviting some students who would be willing to come back and speak about their experience accessing services on campuses.
Yeah.
So it was, I thought, a really great event.
Great. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, not at all. Thank you. Just also wanted to mention our responsive classroom coaching model this year was a little bit different. So this year was just 2 buildings that were getting coaching, Prospect and Colonial. So I had the opportunity to meet with the coaches, their responsive classrooms chief learning officer, their director of educational partnerships, just for a check-in. They're finishing up, I think, that a couple more things to meet on, but the feedback has been really great on this new coaching model from the principals and the teachers. So we look forward next year to Hutchinson and Siwanoy, who will get the coaching model next year. Also quickly, Dr. Champ, myself, and Ms. Caruso from Pelham together met with Authentic Connections. That is the company that produces and helps us gather the data for our Student Resilience Survey, which we administer to students in grades 8, 10, and 12. That was administered in March this year. We went over the preliminary results. We don't have the full report yet, but once we do, we'll be able to speak in more detail about the findings and be able to share more with the Board of Education. Lastly, and I think Claire touched on it, there's a lot of testing going on. This is the time of year. AP exams started this week and will continue through May 16th. So over 900 exams are going to be administered this year. So we have a lot of students that are in the throes of taking APs. So it's a huge undertaking for the counseling department to organize, schedule, set up proctors, room assignments. So I just want to thank Mr. Farrell and Mr. Ferrari and all the counselors for supporting with that. And then, as everyone mentioned, today is School Nurse Day. I have to give a shout out to the entire team as well. Our school nurses are just incredible humans. They're dedicated, their care, the professionalism makes such a tremendous difference in the lives of all of our kids. And whether it's a scraped knee, a chronic condition, or just being a comforting presence, it's the place where a lot of kids like to go to. And they're always there with just compassion and calm, and they make sure that our students are healthy, safe, and ready to learn. So they're the unsung heroes, but they're essential to many of our students' success. So thank you to all of them. They do such a great job.
Yes. Question. Well, I have a comment. Well, I'm glad to know that the transition meeting went really well, and I'm so glad to know that that's a resource that you'll consider bringing back, making a yearly thing for our families, because that transition's a really scary time when you're moving from your comfortable existence here and out into the wider world and trying to figure out, like, now my kid has to learn how to advocate for themselves and I won't be able to help them, and can they do it? And so that's so nice that we can help parents navigate that, like, often really, really uneasy time. So thank you for to the team and for thinking about that and bringing that to our community here. And then my question is, did we have therapy dogs in the building this week for the testing?
I think so.
And how is that going to be? I think that was really cool. I loved it when I walked into the building and I saw the dogs and they were so soft and just happy. Is that something that we're going to be doing again? And how is that communicated?
This was not the first time. I think we had them last year. I think might have been the
Oh,
first
we
time.
did? Okay.
Yeah.
Which schools were the therapy dogs in?
The high school.
High school, yeah.
Yeah, it was
For the AP exams, yeah.
Been going
And
on.
I think there's
They needed them.
that's not organized through
needed
me, so
those
I'm
stuff.
not exactly sure. I think it's organized through the student government. I'm
Oh,
not sure.
okay. Well, the therapy dogs were awesome. So who's ever responsible for it, thank you. Please keep them coming. Yeah. Yeah, all the necessary paperwork has been filed. Okay.
They had good paper.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I moved down in my agenda.
Executive
Oh,
director.
yes, 3.5, executive directors, update on human resources and leadership. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, and good evening. So as we're sort of winding down a school year, we're also thinking about next school year, so we're busy hiring to make sure that we have our teachers all in place for the fall. So a big shout out and thank you to our administrative team who have been leading hiring teams since February. And we have several positions that we have filled already, including our middle school counselor, our middle school English, our middle school science, our middle school math, and our high school science positions. We are still in the process of filling our social studies, science, technology, and some special education positions. We also recently had an elementary teacher who has taken over the 6th grade math position, so we're now looking to hire an elementary teacher position. So we are halfway there, and I am hopeful that we'll get to the finish line before the end of the school year, but our teams are really doing an amazing job screening candidates, bringing candidates in with their focus groups, watching demo lessons, and bringing forth some really talented pool of candidates. So I'm really excited for the people we already have hired, and I'm anxious to see who the new batch that will be coming will be, but so more to come on that. But I think it's important to note that this is a process that we started back in January when we did our postings. We posted through the New York Times, we posted through OLAS, and then from there we also did some virtual job fairs. We've reached out to local universities and colleges with our listings of postings. So we've been trying to get the word out on the different types of positions that we have available, and so far so good. We've been hiring some amazing candidates, so more to come. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Wait, can I say something?
Go ahead.
So I just want to say to you, Dr. Fitzgerald, that your reports are always so dense with like the amount of positions and things that you're juggling. With it seems like there's always some position being filled, but then like a new one coming up, and I think that it's really impressive the amount of work it takes, but also like creativity and innovation that you have, and initiative that you have shown in like this the hiring processes and the team collaborative management, to make sure that we're bringing the highest caliber talent to our district. So thank you so much for the work that you're putting in to this.
Thank you. And I couldn't say it's just me. I really have a whole team behind me doing a lot of this work because I couldn't manage this by myself. And I think this year is a learning curve, obviously, for me. And so I'm just trying to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Well, that's how we learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree that it has evolved since you have moved into this role. So to be much more robust, the process of identifying potential candidates. So
Thank you.
no, you're welcome. Okay, next we have Assistant Superintendent's update on facilities and sustainable learning environments. Jim?
Terrific. Thank you and good evening. I'll touch on a couple of things briefly with our facilities group. As you drive down Lincoln Avenue by Hutchinson, you may see at the corner of Hutch, we have a little pocket park. We've added some new monuments on that site, working with families. These were monuments that were either taken off of the former Hutchinson building or were in and around that location. So we have 3 plaques that have been reinstalled. We worked with the families of, or representatives of at least 2 of the 3 of those families to really memorialize those plaques. And I have to thank Tom Warren, our head custodian at Siwanoy School, after working with the vendor who was not able to get us what we wanted. Tom offered to go ahead and fabricate and build the stands on his own. So we're very grateful for his talent and willingness to go ahead and do that, and our team went ahead and put that in. We've had some contact with members of one family, and they were very, very happy to see, again, their loved one, once again, their plaque out for the public to see. And we're going to do some more work and some landscaping there, too. So, again, that's happened right by Hutchinson in that pocket park.
Can I jump in there too and just say thanks to Jim and to John Condon for their work? That was a labor of love that took many, many years, and I do thank those residents for their patience.
Absolutely.
As we approach the Hutchinson project, I know Dr. Fitzgerald remembers this because I think she and her head custodian, I believe, cataloged every plaque, everything on that property because we knew how to disrupt it all. And I just appreciate the families that trusted us with those important mementos, because every one of those meant something special to somebody in the community. So thank them for their patience. I know it took a lot longer than any of us expected, but we're really happy to finally bring that to conclusion and to bring back those honors for their family and for the history of Pelham.
Yes. Our HVAC project for the summer on this site, we had an update meeting with our vendor today. We're still on schedule, on target for rolling off the production line August 1st, hopefully delivery and work commencing August 6th with the 20-ish day construction schedule. So we're working with the school, and we're still on schedule there. We've also received our building permit for the Glover Field replacement. Again, this is the turf field inside of the track. And it's just really the field replacement. So we're in the final stages there. We've got our contract signed, we have a building permit, and that work should begin in mid-June after we've worked with the athletic department and with our town recreation department, so to coordinate that effort. And again, the whole idea is let's start it as soon as possible, have it done as soon as possible, ready for the opening of school. So we're very excited about that. Mentioned we've had a bunch of committee meetings, so I won't repeat that again with the board. This evening, we have a recommendation for 6 bid recommendations for our facilities group. These are items where we've gone out to public bid. We've evaluated those bids for pricing and for the quality of the vendor as well, and based on the recommendations of the facilities department, we've brought them forward. Tonight we have a budget hearing. It's kind of ironic, though, you're doing a budget hearing after the board has adopted the budget, and the focus is going to be if not at everyone's doorstep already, there shortly. So it's kind of interesting having it now, but it's a state requirement. So we're following that, and we're getting more information about the state budget. I'll kind of talk a little bit about talk of it like a ratings call, because nothing's been signed and nothing's been finalized. But based on the early runs that we're receiving, it doesn't look like we're going to see less money. It looks like we're going to see a little bit more money, which is nice. But certainly, more is better than less. So once we have those final numbers, we'll provide that analysis to the board, and that'll be made public.
I just want to add another piece there, too. Thanks to Assemblywoman Paulin.
Absolutely.
I apologize that Jim and I have been texting a little more than usual tonight. We literally were getting the updated state runs as we're sitting here tonight on our budget adoption evening. So we want to make sure that we get those numbers correct, but we really appreciate the work that she and all of our elected representatives do at the state level to deliver for Pelham, and once again,
Absolutely.
they've done that for us.
And again, to quote Yogi Berra, it's like deja vu all over again, and it isn't over till it's over. So we're gonna wait, and when it's all done, it'll be done. And to top puppies, there's going to be baby goats in the future somewhere. So let me just drop that tease out there in the near future, and they're also properly insured and papered. But that's to come, and that's next. So thank you.
That's a way to end a report.
No, you don't get to say that a lot, do you?
Baby goats don't come up
Baby
very
goats.
often.
I'll end it with baby goats. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we do not have anyone here for comments from the public, and we had them earlier. So we'll move to 5.1. I'll take a motion to recess the business meeting and convene the budget hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, okay, there's a call for public comment.
The robot left.
Yes, so 5.2 and 5.3 is 5.2 is a call for public comments.
And I think 5.3 is a duplicate. I think that was
Okay.
error on my part.
Yeah, okay, all right. But if there's no one here, do we do this or no?
Technically, we
We'll
don't
do it.
need to.
Oh, okay.
So I would just ask one last time if the board had any questions or any further comments while we're in the hearing period. As you said, we don't have any public comment per se, but
Okay,
just any final thoughts.
Anyone here is welcome.
right.
Right. And the state budget does not impact what the district's budget is. So the
Yep.
district's budget is set at that dollar amount.
Yep, and we are beyond the point of being able to change that.
Correct.
So. All right.
No comments or questions on the budget? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. we can move to 5.4, a motion to adjourn the budget hearing and reconvene the business meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? So we're back in the business meeting. I think we can do, actually.
You could probably go all the way through 3.16.
Yeah, but I want to talk about 6.2. Wait, which one do you think? All the way to the donation?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So,
Oh, no, we have to go to 6.12.
Right.
Okay. Actually, okay, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report for the period ending March 31st, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? No? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, so that motion carries. Now, let's move to 6.2. And do I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 Westchester Putnam County School Board Association annual meeting ballots?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and so this is a ballot to approve the budget, as well as to approve the board, and of which Catherine Cohen.
Right. Do we
Yes.
want to say something about the people who are on the board, on the slate for the board?
Yes.
So there's one of our own in that
Yes.
slate. Catherine's going to be representing Pelham,
Yes.
and we're very excited to vote for that. She'll make a great addition, so.
Thank you.
Which means you can't vote for this.
I
but
can't.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So, and I would just add to that too. I know Catherine has already just dove in. I think rolled her sleeves up and got right in, especially on advocacy efforts, state level, local level. So I think the background that you bring to this work is already so evident. So to establish yourself at the Westchester Putnam County School Boards Association already within your first year on the board is pretty distinguished. So thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for your partnership in this. I know you and I communicate a lot on advocacy issues, and I think you're going to represent us well, and you're going to really bring a lot to West Putt. So go you.
Is that the?
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Is that how it's abbreviated, West Putt?
That's how often we tend
That's how
to,
it rolls off.
yes, Westchester Putnam School
Yeah.
Board, so West Putt.
How often do they meet? Do you meet as a board?
How often do they meet as a board?
Yeah.
They meet, I don't know I can't remember how much they said they meet. I think it's once a month or once every other month they meet as a board. But they do as new board members, Dara and I at the beginning of the year, we did their new board member governance training. So they do a lot of board development activities and resources, and put out a lot of things that board members can access to help them, support them in their work as board members, which is pretty important to provide perspective and how to communicate. They do a lot of ed law lunches and help dive into the details on some of these really more complicated or issues that come up for board members, and the board of directors who helps set that and figure out what the programming is going to be for the year and what we need. And it's they represent, I think it's 54 school districts, and I think there's only 22 members of the board, or 24. Don't quote me on that. Sorry, Karen, and if I'm getting anything wrong. But there's so not every school district is represented on the board, and we haven't had somebody from Pelham in a long time, I think, sit there. I think the last time, I don't remember though, I think it's been maybe a decade, but don't quote me on that. So it's really great to have a seat at the table at this for Pelham, to make sure that Pelham is a part of the conversations and that Pelham can be represented in the larger scale, the higher level. So, and also being able to help set or provide the resources for boards, because the work that we do is really complicated and very layered, and I think the more support we can have and access is always good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
again.
Congratulations. We're lucky to have
Well,
you.
we need to
Do
vote.
we have to vote?
Yes, we have to vote. So
And
we're
then
voting
we
for,
can clap.
we're voting for the budget and for the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Better call for an abstention.
And
Yeah, one
Any
abstention.
yeah, do any abstentions?
Aye. Me.
Okay. That motion carries, so congratulations.
Thank you, Catherine. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. I will take, do I have a motion to take a consent agenda 6.3 to 6.12?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Do we have any questions on these, comments or questions?
I would just add that, Jim touched on many of these already. There's a couple more items related to the upcoming vote and the administrator's grants for continuing
yes.
education that we talked about last time are being
Are
brought
back
back
here.
today
Yep.
per the contractual entitlements per their collective bargaining agreements.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries. We'll move to 6.13. Can I take a motion to deny a transportation appeal number 2024-2025 received on May 1st, 2025?
Yep, it's also number 1 in there. It's 2024-2025-01.
1. Oh, 1. Oh,
Yep.
sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay, so I'll say it again. Motion to deny a transportation appeal 2024-2025-01 received on May 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Any abstention?
Any,
I abstain.
you abstain?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that motion carries. And just to talk about that for a minute, the family who made the appeal will be receiving an email to outlining why that decision was made. Okay? All right, so do I have a motion to accept donations?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so this is a donation for $1,000 for the Dr. Arabinda Guha Scholarship Fund, and that it's from the and that gratitude be bestowed upon its donor, the Guha family. So be it further resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education of the Pelham Union Free School District. Okay, so that was
The Guha
one. Oh,
family.
there's several donations in here.
Yes.
Okay, so one, we'll thank the Guha family for donating $1,000 for the scholarship fund. There's another donation from
Friends of Pelham Sports.
from the Friends of Pelham Sports. It's $759.20 to cover the expense of a fan bus from the high school girls basketball game at the Westchester County Center. So thank you to the Friends of Pelham Sports. And then we have a third here.
Related to the Regeneron Science Talent
Yes,
Search.
so this is the $4,000 that comes to the school
Yep,
district.
2,000 for each student who was identified in the STS competition. So 2 students recognized this year, therefore the $4,000 total that goes back to the school.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes.
So thank you to the Guha family, the Friends of Pelham Sports, and to
Regeneron.
Regeneron, yes.
Well, and to the students who,
And to the students who
it,
won this
right?
money for the,
thank you to the
for the school
students who brought that.
So I would like to thank the Friends of Pelham Sports because, we accept a lot of donations throughout the year and they're all wonderful. But it's such a great thing to cover for the fan bus because it allows students to go see their friends and colleagues and root for them. I do wish them well. I hope they win, bring back a trophy. But it's really nice for them to do this because it does allow kids to kind of participate and root on and cheer for their friends. So it's a good thing to do for sports.
Yeah, we can't always do it. Sometimes if it's
Yeah.
outside of the immediate area, that presents some additional challenges. But it's something Mr. Toombs, I think he was able to do this back in season prior as well. So
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Those the motion carries, so thank you, everyone. Okay. We'll move to 7.1. It's the first reading for Policy 7110, Comprehensive Student Attendance Policy.
Sid, I'm happy to take this one
Sid,
on. Okay.
Dr. Champ.
So, yeah, at our last policy committee, we brought this policy for first review. As, you know, again, one of the many things following the pandemic is we've had a lot more focus on attendance, just looking at attendance patterns and trying to make sure, as the policy itself calls for, that we review attendance on a regular basis and make any necessary adjustments to continue to try to promote positive student attendance. Additionally, we realized in reviewing that internally, there was some inconsistencies in codes that were being used, how they're being applied, and just how how some of the provisions in it were being approached. So what we wanted to do was bring the consistency to it, also make it match current practice. So these are really, in essence, some just aligning to current practice and those bringing those consistencies. Having been a high school principal myself in the past and having dealt with attendance policies, to really overhaul and do a thorough change on an attendance policy really is something that takes really the better part of a year to research, study, debate, bring larger stakeholder involvement into it to really make a substantive change. So that wasn't the goal this time around. This was to kind of just update it and make sure that we're in our practice matches our policy. It is something we may want to look at in a deeper way going forward. Also, when you make significant changes, it then requires at least a couple years of that being your really sole focus in implementation. Attendance obviously is a very important thing because time on task is directly related to student achievement. So it's an important thing. So our starting point for this year really was just marry that policy and practice and get some consistency as our starting baseline. So the changes that you see here basically really were done with that goal. Clarifying language, cleaning it up, and reflecting more of what it is that we're doing. We certainly went over this with our attorney as well, as we always do, to make sure that what we're doing is in compliance with the law. And we wanted to provide, just again, some more clarity throughout that will help our building administrators as they administer the building to have consistency and to be able to communicate clearly the expectation to families. So while this policy itself is 8 pages long, we are also required to provide basically a plain language version, and that's what you will find in the student handbooks. So we're bringing it to you now. Once adopted, the principals will take that and then make any adjustments needed in their student handbooks so that they're ready for next school year. I'm not going to go point by point. I think the board has the red line version, so you can certainly see the changes that were made. I'd just be happy to answer any questions that any of those changes may bring to mind.
Do you want to maybe highlight the most important or significant or relevant changes? What's anything in here that?
Yeah, I would say some of it was just basic procedural of clarifying things like a note needing to be provided within 48 hours to the main office, calling in daily, providing a written note within 48 hours, because a lot of times those things may lag or there needs to be some tightening up around there. And that's important, I'd say, especially at the secondary level where excused versus unexcused absences have different consequences for the work that students do, their ability to make up that work, which of course then it impacts their grades. So we wanted to be very clear about what the expectation was, so there were no surprises for families and students, and that gives our administrators the ability to then consistently enforce that. The other thing that I think is probably it was more adjusting the policy to match practice. We certainly are concerned when there are large numbers of absences, and we do have more students struggling really with mental health related issues that are impacting attendance. The way the policy was drafted in the past was that students would lose credit once they reach a certain threshold of absences. Of course, if they're excused, that doesn't apply. It's when they're unexcused that it does apply. And there were some pieces around that because of the complexity of some of the situations, there was a lot of inconsistency. So what we did here as well, and there were some pieces of it to be honest, that for the last several years, for whatever reasons, were not being enforced. So what we wanted to do is make sure our policy and our practice matched. We want to hold an expectation and an expectation of excellence, and also recognize that we do have unique situations where students need more flexibility, but that is something that's not just in isolation. That's a working with the team, the counseling team, the administrative team, the teacher. It might be, MTSS might be involved in that, the MTSS committee. Certainly the counselors and clinical staff are involved in that. There's partnership with parents, documentation. So what we wanted to do was create an expectation, but with enough space for flexibility, that if there was abuse of the policy, and there was really no reason my student, if a student's skipping a class 40 times just because they don't feel like coming, there has to be a natural consequence to that. But if there are other complicating factors, and the team is working together and providing the needed support, we also didn't want to put students in a position of genuinely trying as hard as they can and still having those complicating factors cause them to then potentially lose credit. So again, we want to hold an expectation, but allow for the humanity and the flexibility that's needed, especially in a post-pandemic world. So it's kind of the major pieces that I would say.
Would another change that I just glanced at that may be sort of consistent with that is the way it used to seem to read as like any unexcused absence means you can't do extracurriculars, and that's now a student must attend at least 50% of classes for the day to be eligible to participate in extracurriculars. So.
That one was actually, we tried to frame it more accurate, more clearly.
Okay.
So that has always been the case. If you're not in school on a particular day, then you're not, generally not going to be allowed to participate in extracurriculars. The way it was phrased before, it was about the whole day. The real practice that we had been in is that a student has to attend at least 50% of the school day in order to be eligible. So that way, if a student did have a doctor's appointment in the morning and they missed 3 periods, the way it read in the old version was you couldn't, you may not be able to participate. So we wanted to be clear, in order to participate, you have to be in attendance at least 50% of the day. So that's usually more of often I know we had junior prom recently. Those are the days that it does kind of come into play too, because I know, having been a high school principal, those days are pretty important for students to prepare, but they're also important for instruction.
Right.
So, that's an important piece of clarity. And again, that's all part of expectation setting.
Right.
And some of this too is breaking some habits that were developed during the pandemic, and we're not the only ones grappling with. Districts across the country and probably across the world are dealing with that. And I would add to that too, if students are sick, we want them staying home. So there's a lot of factors that cause us to come back to this. Any other questions? This is our first reading, so we've got some time on this. So definitely digest, and happy to come back with more questions if needed. We did also include on there, it's not part of the policy, but at the bottom would be the a consistent district letter as well. We also found different versions of the letter depending on the building. So we thought we're going to time to update and get a fresh district-wide template that's consistent. And then the building can tailor it to the unique situations, because as you read that, you see both tardy and absence. So they would adjust that as needed to the situation, but let's get it back to a common, consistent letter. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great explanation.
Do I have a motion to take 8.1 through 9.1 as a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, those all carry. Do we have, 10.1, do we have any new business?
Nope, not from me.
Okay, we don't have we don't have the public here for any communications. We can move to 12.1. I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Of course.
Yes, of course.
So you have new business. Go ahead.
Today was our first home game for the unified basketball team.
Nice.
It was amazing. It was a great game with Portchester. We lost by 4 points, but next Wednesday is another home game with the unified basketball team. So if anyone can come out
Yeah,
and
we should
support,
try to
please
go.
do so.
What time is the game, 4:30?
I think they start at 4.
Okay.
Where is that posted?
Downstairs?
Middle school gym.
Yeah.
Oh, where is it?
Like, where would I
posted?
find, like, where would I
I
see
find
that?
out from Mr. Salat, so I'm
Yeah.
not
Is it in the
really-
Sports U app?
It should be on, I think it would be on the Sports U app on the,
Do elementary school parents have that out?
I don't,
What
you
if you
probably
don't
are
have
not.
this
Probably not.
The athletics website also posts the link to games.
Okay.
Mr. Toombs can also tell you. That's my direct connect.
Because Portchester had a good fan base, so.
Oh, yeah.
So then
So-
maybe
Yeah.
we should consider, is it in like the newsletters? Like how, because I'm an elementary school parent, so we're not in that system yet,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And we wouldn't necessarily know to check the athletic website or reach out
Yeah.
to Toombs. So how would we?
I think usually within the high school, I think they would be on the announcements within the high school.
of like this.
But I can talk to Mr. Toombs to see if we can expand that. awareness.
Yeah, because we can have, I think that would be like a cool activity also to
It's the greatest thing
broadcast.
ever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean,
knowing about that would be cool.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
When's the
Yeah.
next, 4:30, next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, 4 o'clock.
Next Wednesday, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Here?
Home game here. They have other games that are away games, but the next home game is here, so come out and represent.
4 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So now I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night.
Putting it in my calendar now.